Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the social climbing series. Today, I want to talk about the question: are white women jealous of light skinned women? Are non black women jealous of, or do they want to look like MLS women? Okay, so this could be a mixed woman who is not white passing. This could be a light skinned black woman. And I'm talking about people like Bad Baby. She was the Catch Me Outside girl. I'll post some more examples of what I'm talking about, but this is something that I see not really being discussed. Those women are not blackfishing. Ariana Grande, she has never done blackfishing. She has done, you could call it mixed fishing or wanting to look multiracial, wanting to look like an Afro Latina or something like that, because she did the kinkmalon hair, which is like a type 4 type of hair with a light skin tone. So, one of the things that I've noticed a lot of women don't understand is that when you are an exotical, whether you're white passing, black passing, doesn't matter, there are non black women who view us as their standard of beauty, hence why they want to look mixed. Even that one lady, I can't remember her name, but if I can find a photo of her, I'll post her photo. She was that one white lady who tanned her skin very dark. Even she is not trying to look unambiguously black. She's trying to look like a dark skinned mixed woman. So that's why she tanned her skin to a chocolate color and she kept the wavy hair. A chocolate colored woman with straight hair or wavy hair is a dark skinned mixed woman. She would be a dark skinned woman who benefits from texturism and featureism. That's what that woman was doing. That's what she was trying to look like. She wasn't trying to do blackfishing. So let's stop calling it what it's not. If people were truly blackfishing, then unambiguous black women would have more of a beauty pedestal. But we see that they're talking about how they feel like they don't have that. They feel like they're not getting corrective promotion or whatever. They feel like they're being replaced or overtaken, even though a lot of them are really replacing themselves by not wanting to show their hair textures or their melanin or, by going against other dark-skinned black women. But I want to talk about that because this whole concept of blackfishing, even the concept of cultural appreciation, some people say it's cultural appropriation. I feel like you're only appropriating it if you're lying or something and you're pretending or you have, if you are jealous of mixed women or racist against mixed women while trying to dress like a mixed woman, yes, that is appropriation. And that's what I will call out. But if you're somebody who simply appreciates our beauty, that just means that we are your beauty standard. But a lot of the non-black women that I see who are doing a different aesthetic, usually they're trying to look light skin passing, or I guess you could call it like mixed passing, biracial passing. They're not trying to look like they are completely unambiguous and dark skin with 2 black parents and 4 black grandparents. And I see people saying, oh, well, they're only doing that because it's easier for them to look light skin versus looking dark skin. First of all, that's false. If a woman wants to pursue beauty, a woman will do anything in her power to attain that beauty. There are women who spend tens of thousands of dollars on surgeries. They spend money on BBLs. They do skin bleaching. There's a multi-billion-dollar skin bleaching industry. But you want to try to convince me suddenly that it's so hard to tan your skin. It's not hard to get a tan. All you have to do is go to a tanning booth. So that talking point is a lie. When they say, oh, that's the only reason that they're not trying to be dark skinned is because it's so hard to be dark skinned. No, it's actually not. Go to the tanning booth, take those melanin pills or whatever. Whatever the Kardashians were accused of doing. I think they said they were either taking melanin pills or they were saying that like a lot of rich people, they're purchasing melanin somehow or getting it into their body somehow. So this argument that it's simply more difficult to look blacker, that's false. If somebody wanted to have 4C hair or type 4 afros, they could purchase an afro. And then I see people saying, oh, well, white women, they purchase black women's lips, they purchase the hips, they purchase, they do the baby hairs and stuff. Okay, light-skinned black women have those features. They have those qualities. Monoracial, light-skinned women, yeah, they definitely have the same lips and same body types as what they're saying white women purchase to look black. So this is what I mean when I say they are hiding behind exoticals. They're hiding behind whether it's darker skinned mixed women, whether it's light skinned black women. And also, when are people going to admit that they associate light skin with being mixed with white? That's why they'll try to tell people, oh, well, you don't look mixed. You don't look like you're half white. Well, you only say that to people who are dark skinned and mixed. You don't say that to people with light skin. So when is the black community going to admit that they associate lighter skin tones with having white admixture. And the lighter the person's skin tone is, the more white mixture people stereotype them as having. When is the black community going to admit that? And I also want to talk about how in the workplace, what I've seen in my personal life and what a lot of you guys are talking about in my Storytime series is how sometimes, let's say you're a mixed woman, let's say you're some form of an exotical. Sometimes white women, monoracial white women, and monoracial black women might team up against you, the mixed woman, because both of them feel like they have proximity to you, but both of them feel like you're different enough to stand out. Or for example, let's say you are Afro-Latina passing. Have you ever noticed that maybe a white passing Latina and an unambiguous black woman will team up against you in the workplace to try to bring you down? Why are they doing that? Well, it's because you pass for both of them, or you look like you're mixed with both of them, and sometimes they feel threatened or jealous by your unique phenotype. They feel threatened by your cultural fluidity. A lot of people, what they're truly jealous of when it comes to exoticals is kind of this fluid identity. You can flow in and out of blackness, or in and out of whiteness, or in and out of light skin, or in and out of dark skin. Whatever your identity is, it's more fluid than a person who is, they're monoracial, monocultural, they look monoracial, they look unambiguous. So the stereotypes they face are always the same no matter where they go. For example, the black woman attitude stereotype. I have not had an experience where it's like every single time I go somewhere, I always get the black attitude stereotype. No, generally speaking, if I get a black attitude stereotype, it's because I actually do have an attitude. I don't just randomly get that stereotype. But for some women, depending on their phenotype, they can get that stereotype. Every racial and ethnic group has both positive and negative stereotypes associated with it. When are we going to admit that? Or are we just going to pretend like if you're black, you're perfect? The darker you are, the more perfect you are. The more kinky your hair is, the more perfect you are. The broader your features are, the more unambiguous you look, the more perfect you are. But going back to this whole skin tone thing, I've had non-black people tell me to my face that I have a perfect skin tone. They'll be like, oh, I'm so jealous of your skin. Oh my God, you have the perfect tan. I've even been told, oh, you have a perfect skin tone because you're not too white and you're not too black. So if I've been told that to my face, and by the way, they were saying it as a compliment. This was said by a non-black Latina. So I think it's hilarious how you've got women on YouTube trying to convince women that, oh, nobody wants to look like you. You're not anybody's standard of beauty. Nobody likes your skin complexion if you have a golden skin tone, for example. And we know that that's false. Our life experiences tell us that that's false. And then I see people saying, well, these women, they only want to look like an exotical if that exotical is attractive and pretty privileged. Okay, well, then that would be the women on this channel then, because we identify as pretty privileged. This channel is not even for women who identify as being ugly. So when you speak about pretty privilege or who non-black women are trying to look like or who they're trying to be adjacent to, you're talking about us. So it's hilarious how people have all these theories on what it's like to be an exotical, but anytime an exotical speaks, then suddenly it's, we're wrong. And then I see some people who say things like, oh, well, exoticals, they had colorist black men on their side, which, first of all, just because someone dates you doesn't mean they're colorist, but okay. They'll be like, oh, well, black men or MLS men, they're still going to pick a white woman over you. Okay, when are you guys going to decenter men from the conversation? My worth is not determined by how much dick I get. Sorry. I wasn't so attention starved to the point where the only time I feel beautiful is if a man points his dick at me. That's not what my self-esteem is based on. So that's a femcel talking point. Oh, well, if you don't get picked by the most men, if you don't get fucked by the most men, then your sexual market value is low. And then if an exotical is sexually active, then they turn around and say, well, these women are whores. Remember that video that I made recently where there was a woman saying, oh, light-skinned women are whores and they're spreading all the STDs, which, by the way, is completely false. The CDC would disagree with her talking points. So it's like, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. And I heard somebody saying, oh, I've never seen a black man that dates white women also date light-skinned women. And again, that's false. Men are not a monolith. There are some guys out there that date every phenotype, just like how there are some women out there that date every phenotype. So they're doing this thing where they're trying to create a hierarchy, and they don't want to acknowledge that non-black women can be jealous of exoticals, just like how a white woman can be jealous of a dark-skinned black woman. I see white women who get triggered by the attention and beauty pedestal that exoticals get all the time. By the way, I did hear about the Taylor Swift thing. I don't know that much information about it yet, but I heard that she was supposedly talking about how all of her exes, they had a history of dating black women who are accused of benefiting from colorism, texturism, or featureism. She didn't say all that in her music, but people are trying to imply that that's what she was saying. I'm not sure if it's true because I didn't research it enough, but if it is true, I wouldn't be surprised. Exoticals do get a pedestal. We can have a pedestal in the black community, but we also can have a pedestal in non-black communities as well. We know how much other communities love black culture, for example. I'll use Filipinos as an example. If a person is black and Filipino, her, the singer, is coming to mind. She's black and Filipino. I think Sweetie is also black and Filipino. But there is a such thing as a person appreciating black culture or thinking that it's cool or thinking that melanin is beautiful. So it's like, okay, why is it that your blackness is beautiful when it's dark skinned and unambiguous? But then if I come on here and say, oh yeah, but people can also think it's beautiful to be mixed as well, then suddenly it's wrong and it's inaccurate. Another version of a pedestal that exoticals can have in non-black spaces is the proximity to those people. So for example, I know I've been told by a white woman before, at work, by the way, she was like, oh, no wonder you have such pretty features. She was asking about my racial background, and she was asking if I had any Italian or Irish ancestry as a part of my background. Okay, so that's an example of someone receiving special treatment or compliments or having a sense of proximity to someone non-black because you're mixed with that person's ancestry. So even though that person may not admit it, or even though you don't look exactly the same as someone white, if you're not white passing, they still know that their blood runs through your veins, for lack of better words. So yes, that is definitely a reason that people can feel threatened. And I also want to talk about tanning salons and tanning booths and tanning sprays and the tanning lotions that they have. How many tanning lotions are ebony colored? When you go to the grocery store, when you go to Target and you purchase a tanning oil, how many of them say it's going to make you the color of Lupita Nyong'o? It doesn't say that because, first of all, a lot of people associate that with blackface. But also, the actual beauty trends can change. They have changed all throughout the years. But a lot of women who are non-black who are trying to quote unquote appreciate blackness, or they're trying to look more adjacent to blackness, they stop at a certain point. Usually they stop around looking mixed or looking like some sort of light-skinned black woman. Usually they're trying to go for some sort of Afro-Latina type of phenotype because they want to look like they're somewhere in the middle, if that makes sense. So if somebody is monoracially white or monoculturally white, and they're trying to get out of that, they're not going to try to cosplay as a completely different race. Usually they are going to try to cosplay as maybe some sort of mixed look. Being racially ambiguous or looking ambiguous, that is a marketing tactic that a lot of people use. So to try to pretend like non-black women can't want to look like exoticals, that's false. If you look at Hollywood is proof that a lot of people love the exotical phenotype. They love kind of this golden skin tone or this tan skin tone or whatever curly hair textures. And also, you know how people make that argument where they're like, your white side never accepted you. The Latinas never accepted you. Okay, then why is it that you have white women or Latina women trying to look like a mixed, part black Latina woman? If it were truly the case that non-black people don't accept you for being multiracial, first of all, segregation would still be a thing. Because what they're trying to imply is, oh, you're segregated. You're segregated from white people. You know, you're in the colored section, they're in the white section. And it's like, ma'am, if that were really the case, that people didn't want to associate with anything black whatsoever, then we would still be living in segregation. In fact, multiracial people wouldn't exist. Multiculturalism wouldn't exist. And I think what threatens people the most is they know that multiculturalism is the future. And so that makes us exoticals have more social power because we automatically have the most proximity to that, especially in regards to our blackness as well. Because if you look online, that's the main community that I have seen talking about not fitting in with other cultures, because they talk about how everybody else is colorist. You know, they say Indians are colorist, Latinos are colorist, and they say, I know black, I Dominican. You know, they have all these different stereotypes of all of the different non-black groups, and they talk about how they are not accepted by those groups because they themselves are unambiguous. But if multiculturalism is the future, who better to learn multiculturalism from than actual multicultural black people who are already black or black adjacent? But we just happen to be either mixed race or maybe we're passing for something else, even if we're not a part of that group. But have you ever experienced jealousy from a non-black woman? And have you noticed that whoever the non-black woman is that's coming against you, have you been mistaken for being mixed with her race? Because I know that's been the case for me. Like the one lady that was Indian that was coming against me at one of my old jobs, when she first met me, she asked me if I was part Indian. So why is it always a non-black woman who thinks you are mixed with their exact background? What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.